Where you at, Rock? Where you at? What's my name?
This is the history of rock.
That's right, motherfuckers. I'm back.
This is the true story about Mackin.
It's the end of 1993, and Kid Rock is fresh off of his 2 releases with Continuum Records, The Polyfuse Method and Fire It Up, and he's also fresh into fatherhood.
And I was like, holy, what am I gonna do with this? My kid used to cry and I'd go to the hospital. They're like, my kid's crying. They're like, yeah, that happens.
But life was moving fast. By 1994, he was a single father and parted ways with his record label, Continuum. Rock was at a crossroads. Either give up on fame and play it safe, get a regular job.
He told me privately, he said, what if I have to work in a car wash the rest of my life?
Or pull himself up by his bootstraps and hustle his ass off, doing it his way. We all know his destiny was the latter. In part 3 of the history of rock, we'll cover from the years 1994 through 1996, with Rock in his most independent era of his career. He stayed relevant on the streets of Detroit, putting out a series of bootleg tapes, full of new material and awesome covers. And all this led to his 1996 release, Early Mornin Stoned Pimp, perhaps his most unique sounding album, where he went back to his basics, rap music, with heavy doses of funk and rock and roll spread throughout.
Early Mornin Stoned Pimp was a huge local success. It was back to rap. It was back to basics and back to what he knew.
I want to truly kick off part 3 by deep diving into the bootleg tapes of 1994 and 1995. But first, I've got to dive into how big of a hustler Rock turned into during the mid-90s, and the formation of his band, the Twisted Round Trucker Band. You see, with the release of these bootleg tapes, it marked the beginning of Rock's era as an independent artist, out in the streets hustling, trying to network his way to the top, handing his tapes out to anybody who will listen. He completely immersed himself within the Detroit music scene, frequenting all of the local jam band bars and clubs. He became an entrepreneur, dealing with his own marketing, fan club, putting his shows together, forming his band, creating his music from scratch, from writing and producing the music, to creating his cassette tapes and pressing his CDs and distributing them out of the back of his car.
Any t-shirt Kid Rock pressed up, it was out of there. It was sold out. I mean, he couldn't even keep them. Kids was eating it up in the suburbs.
He didn't have anyone doing the work for him now, so he was working his ass off.
All of a sudden, it was his money he was playing with, so things were a lot more budgeted.
He later had a high-tech answering machine and computers with interns working them in his basement by 1996, making his growing Midwestern fan base think he had this big operation. Nope, just a man with a vision hustling his ass off.
He had tons of interns working for free just to help him out. Websiting, spreading the word.
He would tell them, if you do flyering for me, then we'll provide you with a top dog jacket.
He's a shark as a businessman.
Here's a quote from Rock that sums it up nicely. The interviewer asked him, so when you get a shirt from Top Dog Records, that was you writing the address on the label? Yep, I send out the catalogs. They're dope-ass catalogs. Don't blow my cover. Kids think I got a fucking operation going on here. They think when they order a shirt, it's like a warehouse with a conveyor belt, but it's just me in my basement with some packaging tape and a computer. Pays the fucking bills. Uncle Kracker gives an amazing insight into this time period in a 1999 feature on Kid Rock from Spin magazine. We would put out bootlegs of Kid's stuff just to keep some money coming in, Kracker says. Or we would record new songs, dump them on some whack-ass cassettes with Kinko's copies, and put them in the store on consignment. Also, at this point in 1994, Rock was becoming much more active as an A&R guy for the label that he owned 25% of at the time, Top Dog Records.
Top dog, I'm the CEO.
He would scope out talent and put them on, like the Waco Squad, who featured Prince Vince, who appeared on multiple bootleg tapes.
Now Prince Vince, I remember hanging in your hood with the 40s hoes. Do I make myself understood? Yeah, I put you on them black hoes.
He also took the role of keeping the mailing list for the record label, sending out postcards for upcoming shows, upcoming music releases, and newsletters. Check out this gem, a Top Dog newsletter from December of 1994. I've just got to read this whole thing word for word because it's pretty hilarious. Welcome rap fans from Michigan to Maine and from Houston to Indonesia to the first semi-annual Top Dog Records newsletter. The Pimp of the Nations, aka Kid Rock's, last 2 years have been packed with plenty of accomplishments and a few mind-altering substances. Included in these accomplishments was the release of the LP The Polyfuse Method, which generated worldwide sales of 152,000, including 30,000 units in Indonesia. The videos for Back from the Dead and You Don't Know Me reached great success thanks to the help of the Playboy Channel, ESPN2's Max Out, Soul Beat, and Video Jukebox, where your requests placed You Don't Know Me at the #2 most requested video, according to Billboard magazine. There's a little bit to unpack there already. Indonesia got 30,000 copies of the Polyfuse Method? I mean, it sounds crazy, it sounds weird, I don't even know if it's true. I guess Continuum Records could have put that together, I don't know. Seems super random. And we all know that the music videos for You Don't Know Me and Back from the Dead didn't really go anywhere, so it's pretty interesting to think that they were on the Playboy Channel or on ESPN2, even being the #2 most requested video on a Video Jukebox. I gotta see this Billboard magazine. Now there are a couple watermarks, it looks like it says Rayman. I'm guessing that's the dude who held on to this newsletter and scanned it. Unfortunately, it does block out a few words, but I'm going to do the best I can. Back from the Dead went top 20 on the College Music Journal something, and it also reached #2 spot on the Indonesian rap chart. Special thanks to all the Indonesian fans from Bang Dang, Jakarta, and the island of Java. Kid Rock's late 1993, early 1994 release, Fire It Up, labeled by critics as Rap Roll, launched Kid Rock into the top 100 Heat Seekers chart in Billboard magazine. Now I do know that Fire It Up won like a local Detroit award, but I don't think anything Kid Rock did pre-1998 had really any national acclaim, let alone international acclaim. Indonesia, like I don't know what to make of this Indonesia stuff. I mean, there was an Indonesian copy of the Polyfuse Method that is on Discogs, so it does exist, but it just sounds so wacky that 30,000 copies got shipped to Indonesia. I thought that was interesting. He said he was already labeled as Rap Roll, when actually 5 years later, Rap Rock would actually be the term that caught on. Now, I'm pretty sure Kid Rock was writing this newsletter. If it wasn't him, it was one of like his best buds or another Top Dog executive type buddy that he had. It's definitely going out of its way to show just how successful Rock had been to this point. There's like a 5% fake it till you make it vibe to this whole thing. Carrying on, before the Judgment Night soundtrack was even thought of, Kid Rock jump-started the fusion of rap and metal with his third single, Prodigal Son, which thanks to a few progressive college metal shows, finally grew into a top 5 cut at large college metal stations across the country. Due to industry demands, Kid Rock's rap and roll melodic metal sounds have triggered the creation of a new band, fittingly called Twisted Brown Trucker. Kid Rock will now stick to his roots as a hardcore, foul-mouthed rap artist and leave his rap and roll creations to Twisted Brown Trucker. Look for TBT's debut LP, Redneck Kicker Music, on Top Dog in 1995. Some of you may be familiar with Kid's relationship with college radio and the FCC, when Kid Rock's classic, Yodelin' in the Valley, generated the largest fine handed down by the FCC in college radio history, almost $24,000. Sorry, WSCFM, but thanks for having the balls to play our shit. Depending on where you live, you may have caught Kid Rock's show during his Midwest tour this fall. One thing you won't ever catch again is Kid Rock in Canada, where he was banned for life. Fuck Canada and their 72 cents on the dollar. The only thing good about Canada is the beer and that Ain't Got Slut to Colt 45. Is that what it says? Ain't Got Slut? I feel like I'm misreading that. On Colt 45. It works every time. Another accomplishment achieved by Kid Rock was his multiple Motor City Music Awards, like Best Rapper and Best Hip Hop Recording. Now, this part's a little hard to read, joining the rank of George Clinton as the only something winners. At his Fire It Up release party, Kid Rock placed his hands in cement upon his induction into the Motor City Walk of Fame. Now, that sounds badass. I don't think I've ever seen a picture of that. Come to think of it, Kid Rock should have one on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, but we all know Kid Rock doesn't really fuck with Hollywood. But I would love to see a photo of his hand on the Detroit City Walk of Fame. Also, it's hilarious to see he's mouthing off about Canada. I noted in last part how Kid Rock did have one stop in Canada, and I thought that was pretty cool. I'm sure he got himself into some trouble up there. You may have heard the rumors of Kid Rock's association with a few controlled substances, I believe it says. It's really none of your damn business, but if it must be known, the kid is clean, and the only dope you'll be able to associate with him will be the dope beats and rhymes on his next release. Word has it that some unknown source has been bootlegging unreleased tracks of Kid Rock and other knickknacks. The FBI has notified us that they are hot on their tracks and should have the bootleggers behind bars and incarcerated by December 23rd. Therefore, to ensure yourself a bootleg cassette, 4 of which to choose from, July, August, September, and October/November. Check out the attached order form. Hurry on the bootlegs. They are limited edition and soon to be out of print. Now, that line about controlled substances, that's pretty funny. Between the years of 92 and 93, Rock was really experimenting with, well, rock. You know, crack cocaine, heroin even, and then psychedelics, hallucinogens. He was indulging in pretty much everything.
Got into the alcohol, started smoking pot. Wanted to go a little further. Let's try a little cocaine. What's this heroin like? Mushrooms? Acid?
And I think he got into some heavy drug using at the time. Heavy drug using.
He was definitely partying. I mean, I'd seen him out of control more than once.
I think
there was a lot of drugs floating around. We were out in the middle of nowhere. There wasn't a whole heck of a lot to do.
Apparently, he got a little bit of a reputation around town as kind of being like a druggie, and that was a reputation that he definitely wanted to shake. Kid Rock's work ethic just can't be fucked with, and I think he got that from his father. And besides wanting fame and fortune, Champtown paints another big motivator for Rock during this time period.
He always wanted to prove somebody wrong, whether it was his dad or whether it was everybody.
I think Kid Rock's whole drive is to show his father, I'm gonna become richer than you off of some shit you didn't want me to do.
Those two are much more alike than they'll actually say.
That is one of the biggest underlying storylines of Rock's career throughout the decade of the 90s. Having a torn relationship with his father, not getting much support of any kind from him in his late teens and early 20s. Champtown put it best with that quote right there. Rock also was putting on some concerts at this time, with 17 total performances in 94 and then only 6 in 95. Now, I guess I have to note here that perhaps Kid Rock and Continuum didn't split until closer to the end of 94, as opposed to the beginning of 94, because on a concert ad from October of 1994, it still has him labeled as a Continuum artist, but the bootlegs that began releasing in July of 94 have zero mention of Continuum. Regardless, not much of anything was truly done with Rock and Continuum in the year 1994. They may have helped him with some booking of shows in 1994, but that's about it. Here's a rare performance from November of 1994 in Toledo, Ohio. He's performing Pancake Breakfest, with Champtown as his hype man on stage, along with Cracker behind on the tables, and what looks to be Bob Ebelin behind the drums, and some dancers on stage as well. Enjoy. So by the end of 1994, it doesn't seem like the Twisted Brown Trucker Band was fully a thing yet. At least not as a touring entity. They made their debut on record with Rock on the July Bootleg tape, on Dark and Gray. And I'll get to those bootleg tapes in a couple more minutes. There's not a lot of solid information out there on the revolving door of musicians that Rock had in the band throughout the mid-90s. Basically, I just have the TBT Wikipedia page to go off of. It claims that by the end of 1994, the Twisted Brown Trucker Band already had a full set of members. But remember, Rock couldn't pay these guys shit. Maybe $5 and half a doobie for these guys after the show. But a couple of the earliest members would stick it out to enjoy the fruits of their labor. Those being Uncle Kracker, who was his DJ from essentially the beginning, but officially from 1994 through 2002, Kenny Olson, his blues-based lead guitar player from 1994 through 2005, Jimmy Bones, he's been the band's keyboardist from 1995 through present day, making him the longest tenured member besides Rock himself. He'd play the keys, the organ, the harmonica, he's just a badass musician. And then, actually, even Marlon Young. He's been Kid Rock's lead guitarist from 2007 until present day, but he actually had a stint with the TBT from 1996 through 1997. There were some other notable members of the group, like Bob Ebelin, his drummer from 1994 through 1995, who did some studio work with him and also has given some great interviews on this time period. And then Thornetta Davis, his female background singer from 1996 through 1997. She laid down some awesome studio tracks for Rock, but we'll get into that later. This was the lineup of the band in late 1996 from the Underrated and Unsung documentary. The Twisted Brown Trucker Band wasn't truly set in stone until 1997, with those legendary members that helped contribute to Devil Without a Cause and tour the world when Rock went huge. So, I'll revisit the TBT again in part 4 of the history of Rock. And then there's Joe C. Oh, don't think I forgot about J-O-E to the C, ho. He joined the TBT in 1994 as well. And I plan on doing a separate video solely dedicated to Joe C., his own documentary, so I'm gonna spare some biographical information here. Kid Rock has told the story of Joe C. many times, so I'll just let you hear about Joe C.'s introduction to the band straight from him.
He spotted a pint-sized powerhouse dancing in the crowd at a concert in Roseville.
I remember looking out into the crowd and seeing this little kid standing on a table singing every word to the show.
I'm like, what this little kid doing in here? You know, it's past curfew.
Still remember the first time we saw him at the Palladium in Roseville, Michigan. And he was standing on a bar stool or something. A friend was holding him up, I don't know what. And
everybody was so freaked out because he looked like he was probably 7, 8, 6 maybe.
I can't believe somebody brings their kids to this show. Like, I was questioning their morals. Eventually, he would come to the shows, and I would give him the mic, and I'd be like, this is crazy.
He asked somebody, where's his dad?
He's like, little guy. He's like, what's up with you? You want to smoke a joint, player? And I'm like, do you want a job? And so, I was like, do you want a job?
And Bob was just like, holy shit. Like, do you want a job?
He told me that this was going to be kind of like his Flavor Flav.
He was just running around the stage barking at people, and people loved him.
Joe C's in the house!
What up, yeah?
The story of Joe C. becoming a member of the band gets me every time. Joe C. brought an immeasurable amount of charm on stage with him, and he totally contributed more to Kid Rock's mainstream success than any other member of the band did between 1999 and 2000. In those years, Kid Rock was a pop culture icon, and Joe C. was right there with him. Joe C. had so many plans in the works before his untimely death at the end of the year in 2000. From his own album to acting in movies, I'll dive into all that in the Joe C. documentary. Kid Rock has always had a hype man. First, he had the Black Man and Uncle Kracker, Champtown as well through the early and mid-90s. but Kid knew that he struck gold when he found Joe C., the biggest type man. Here's Cracker explaining how Rock strategically toured during the mid-90s, building a cult following amongst his demographic in the Midwest. He built a following. He'd play the Majestic or the Ritz, then bounce around to smaller venues like Alvin's or St. Andrews. He would play once every 6 months or so, make it look like he was coming through on tour as opposed to just beating everybody in Michigan over the head every weekend. He was very smart about the whole supply and demand type thing. You'd have 900 people in the room, all these little white kids who dropped acid and liked listening to gangster rap.
How many people in here drink beer? How many people in here drink wine? How many people in here smoke bud? How many people in here drop acid?
Okay, now we can finally sink our teeth into the bootleg tapes. There were 6 tapes in total: July 94, August 94, September 94, October, November 94, December 94, and March of 95. Off the bat, if you want to hear these tapes in their full glory, this dude uploaded them all in outstanding quality. For so many years, it was impossible for fans to listen to these tracks in such great quality. Respect, bro. Of course, Rock hustled these tapes. He would supply local record shops with some copies and sell the rest right out of the trunk of his car. He'd go to local high schools when they were letting out, stocked full of tapes, handing them out to all the kids. Alright, it's meat and potatoes time, and the July bootleg tape starts off hot. 4 tracks, and all 4 are brand new. I'll explain the Prodigal Son remix in a minute. The July 1994 edition of the Top Dog Records Kid Rock Underground Bootleg series. Once a month, Kid Rock will bring you Detroit's most unlawful recordings, featuring previously unrecorded tracks by Kid Rock and newly discovered artists. This month features that convicted gas jockey, Cracker. Please stand by, as you can see, typo, for the August release featuring Twisted Brown Trucker and other surprises. The typo is just, I had a little bit extra charm here. Track 1, Mom and Dad, I Use Drugs, recorded in 94.
MCs, I lay 'em out like rugs, screaming real loud, Mom and Dad, I use drugs.
A song Rock had t-shirts designed after and used on some marketing material for this tape. It kicks ass. It's got quite the title, with some amazing rap verses throughout. It's got a line that Rock would later use on his 2001 song Trucker Anthem.
Send me your address, I'll swing by, call up your friends, I'll get your whole fucking crew high.
And the song shouts out Indonesia. That always confused me as a kid, but I guess Continuum arranged for the Polyfuse method to be sold in Indonesia? I don't know, apparently he moved 30,000 copies there. This song perfectly sets the tone for what's to come from these bootleg tapes. Fucking OG Kid Rock bangers. He also did a Grandmaster Flash sampled remix to this song a year or 2 later in his White Room sessions, which is pretty damn good in its own right.
I got a stain on my brain, it won't go away. Some say I'm trash and just another throwaway.
He changed up some of the lyrics in that version.
To the hotel, fuck that. Got no seats in my van, I fuck right on the floor mat.
I can't quite figure out how that remix made its way online. It was never released anywhere, so I'm assuming one of the dudes in Rock's camp at the time held on to some of their White Room Sessions tapes and eventually digitized them to get them online. Kudos to that fan. Track 2 is a remix of Prodigal Son, where the first few minutes of the song are what would later be released as The Prodigal Son Returns. It's an interesting mix on the song, and the vibe of the first verse of The Prodigal Son is much different on this beat. The Prodigal Son Returns I always thought was an outstanding little epilogue to The Prodigal Son. Something about hearing Rock rap about golf kind of pumps me up. Tell me you're white without telling me you're white. It's also cool to know that Rock thought about making Prodigal Son and Prodigal Son Returns one big 10-minute monster of a song. But he made, in my opinion, the smart decision to split them both up. And it's cool that Rock already had the Prodigal Son Returns finished by 1993. Track 3, Crack Rock, recorded in '94. The earliest known recording of Uncle Kracker that I'm aware of. But he has certainly recorded many songs before this, but this is his true debut, I believe.
Well, I'm the pump with the bump in the back of my ride. How do you step, Rock? I step in stride.
Known as just Kracker at the time, he and Rock trade lines throughout the entire song, and it's killer. The song would be re-released on EMSP a few years later, but this bootleg version has some different lyrics on it. Kracker, the convicted gas jockey, raps all about upgrading to white-collar crimes.
Taking my cute ass down to prison. I stepped up to white-collar crimes. Fuck selling eights, nickels and dimes. I tap in the computer with the 40-ounce, transferring monies from your bank account. Now all you rich fucks with your shitty grin, cause your money's my money out in Switzerland.
And track 4, It's Still East Detroit to Me, a song recorded in 1992 with producer Mike E. Clark. He has an amazing quote about the recording and writing of this song. The first time I ever heard him sing, East Detroit had slightly changed its name to East Point, so Bob changed the lyrics to Billy Joel's It's Still Rock and Roll to Me to record a cover version called It's Still East Detroit to Me. He started singing, and I was like, dude, you sound amazing. He was just messing around, but he sounded really good. I could hear the tone. He could hit the notes. When Only God Knows Why became a big hit later on in 1999, he looked at me and said, you know, you were the first person who told me I could sing. It's a pretty cool take on the Billy Joel classic. Another early example of Rock taking amazing classic songs and putting his own twist on them. A formula that led to his most popular song in his entire catalog, All Summer Long. We'll get to that eventually in this documentary series. Finally, the tape ends with a 90-second ad for next month's August tape, featuring, for the first time ever, the second tape follows a similar formula to the first, but only 2 new songs this time, and 2 new versions of old songs. Track 1, presumably recorded in '94, is the original version of You Keep On, a song that'd be re-released 2 other times on EMSP and the History of Rock. This OG version has its own unique parts, some different lyrics, a different outro. It's great. It's got that funky, high-energy beat, and by the end of the song, it feels like a party. Track 2 is Balls in Your Mouth, Head Mix. It's an underwhelming remix to Balls in Your Mouth. I'm not the biggest fan of it. Track 3 is Dark and Gray, the star of the show here. The official debut of TBT, one of Rock's most heavy songs. Another one that he'd re-release on the History of Rock. He's writing about a dark period in his life, where he was at his lowest point, down bad on those hard drugs.
He was the worst I ever seen him, ever. He was bad. He was horrible. And I think he got into some heavy drug using at the time. Heavy drug using.
The heavy guitar riffs on this track are fucking explosive. They provide an electric intro and outro for this song. So much energy. And Rock delivers some versatile verses and an awesome chorus. Rock used to be compared to Alice in Chains by some critics and interviewers in the 90s. And I think this song is the biggest reason why. That chorus does have some serious Alice in Chains vibes. Track 4 is a quote live version of Back from the Dead, but it's a remix. This ain't live. It's pretty damn good though. A nice remix to the Kid Rock classic. The September '94 tape features Detroit's favorite Tyrone Power Wheel with Eden Revisited. Also, the Waco Squad, featuring that OG Prince Vince, comes strong representing Detroit like it should be, kicking G rhymes over a fat-ass Kid Rock track. Look for the Waco Squad debut LP on Top Dog Records. Coming soon, motherfucker. Also shown are a bunch of late 94 shows Rock had lined up. Track 1 is straight dog. Prince Vince on the rhymes, Kid Rock on the beat. This song just has 90s rap vibes all over the place. That California West Coast sound with Rock on the keys, and Vince throwing out D-O-double-G's like Snoop. It's a cool track. Track 2 is a remix of Rollin' on the Island with a killer, funky beat. At this point, the only other way to hear this song was on the UK releases of Polyfuse. So for a lot of fans in the Midwest, especially Detroit, this was probably their first time hearing this song. I can't say I rank this version higher than the other officially released version, but it's still absolutely fire. Track 3 is Oedipus Intro, the shit they cut out. It's just a slightly extended version of the beginning of my Oedipus complex.
Said I need somebody, please, please help me. Said I need somebody, you must tell me who I am.
And following right behind it, the fourth track, Rain Check. Recorded in February of '92, a song that would re-release on his 1997 re-release of Polyfuse, The Polyfuse Method Revisited. It's just a quick dirty rap, standard 1992 Kid Rock. The fifth and final track is from local rock band Tyrone's Power Wheel, called Eden Revised. I think I just called it Eden Revisited a few minutes ago. I'm a jackass. It's a grunge sounding song, pretty solid. Some more Alice in Chains vibes. The fourth bootleg tape was the October-November '94 release. This one had an extensive write-up from Rock. This month's bootleg is double length and features the 1992 unreleased recording of Plastic People by Kid Rock. Reappearing this month due to popular demand is the Waco Squad, who'll open up a show for Kid Rock November 25th at the Ritz in Roseville. Making their bootleg debut this month is Space Station, with TBT percussive genius Robert Ebelin, accompanied by keyboard wrecker Charlie Hughes, with their WJLB smash hit Green. Haha. Check out the B-side, which features a blast from the past as Kid Rock wrecks shop on the turntables, reminiscent of his 40 drinking, only white kid in the party, except for Chuck and Murph, scratching his ass off for no money Mount Clemens days. Enjoy this bootleg. Diss this bootleg. Thanks for your money for this bootleg. Don't be afraid to dupe this bootleg. And remember, those with big heads get dissed, bitch. I think that last line was a warning shot at Violent J of ICP, but I cannot confirm that. Track 1 is a personal favorite of mine, presumably an outtake from the Polyfuse Method, Plastic People. This song has got some serious charm, and it's super catchy. The vibe change on that last verse keeps this song fresh to listen to over and over again.
Bump the bass! Yeah, fuck that first verse, radio bullshit. Let me tell you how it's really laying. Niggy, now I stepped into the party with a limp in my left leg. Grabbed a cup and headed straight for the keg. Pistol in my pocket.
Track 2 is for my homies, another Waco Squad track. More mid-90s rap, good stuff. Track 3 is Watch Me Come, super rough demo. A trucker band song with Tim Authier on vocals, produced by Kid Rock. The vocals from this song, they kinda remind me of Monster Truck and Don't Tell Me How to Live. It's solid, nothing really special. Sounds like a mix of Alice in Chains and Saliva. Track 4 is Green by Space Station. Trippy, kinda psychedelic, prog rock sounding, a song I never really listened to. The fifth track is the entirety of side B, 30 minutes of Rock remixing different 80s and 90s rap jams. It's nothing special, and Rock did drop the N-bomb again in the song's description. The December tape features a big diss on ICP. You drink Fagos like pussies. I pound 40s of brew. If I was as ugly as you, I'd probably wear makeup too. I told you once, I'm the man in the dark. You wouldn't have a beat if it weren't for Mike Clark. You wouldn't have an image if it weren't for Esham. You're like a floppy disk. I'm a CD-ROM. All you corny clowns get the fuck out my mix. And by the way, if something smells, it's me, cause I'm the shit. I'm not sure how I feel about this diss all in all. I'm not sure what ICP did to directly provoke this specific diss. Maybe it was them that were spreading the rumors around Detroit that Rock was a junkie. Or maybe they were already spreading those rumors that he was a racist. Who knows, but the diss did seem kind of forced. But if ICP did provoke it, then it's fair game. Track 1 is sick. Tin Can People by Uncle Kracker.
Tin can people make a lot of noise.
I wish there was more material out there featuring that mid-90s Uncle Kracker. His rap style was amazing. He and Rock wrote many of Kid Rock's songs together. They have such a similar writing style, so these Kracker songs fit in so perfectly on these bootlegs. This is one of my favorite Uncle Kracker tracks, period.
Fuck you looking at hoe, you can't stop this. Looking at me trying to get what can't be got. The only thing you might get from me is shot.
Track 2 is classic Rock. Noted in no way, shape, or form finished product. Strictly demonstration tape. This song was re-released just over a year later on EMSP, with a completely different mix. This version is over a funky country guitar loop. This is some dirty nasty rap, aka that classic Kid Rock shit. I love it.
Check it out. Well, guess who's back with a big fat cock? It's the kid motherfucker with the classic rock. Like wax that booty on the lady who pump, slapping you hoes with dick when I get drunk.
Interestingly, around the same time, Rock recorded a completely different song with this same guitar loop beat, a rare song called The Slacker. This is another track that Rock recorded in the White Room that was leaked out online years later. Here's a nice taste of The Slacker.
I walk around town like the creep I am. Got nothing to do and I ain't got no plans. I used to rock out cause I like to jam, but shit wasn't clicking so I quit the band. Sold my strap and my Marshall stack. I thought I'd move out my crib but I moved right back. Had a little job flipping pizzas, bro, but that shit didn't get us, why I let it go. I sit around the house just getting baked. I guess most people can't relate with the finer things in life I ain't after. And hey Holmes, you can call me the slacker. He's the slacker, cause I be slacking.
Track 3 is I Am the Bull God, Talkbox version. It's a cool experimental piece with the Talkbox, riffing on Bull God. Track 4 is Something I Scratched On, a new song, but it's basically just a mashup with a few new lines. Notably, Rock drops the N-bomb again on record.
Punks need to step up off me. Fucking Detroit news and a Daryl Dorsey. Niggas always bitching about the fucking cops. They need to chill with the Rock and give up some fucking props. I recall back when I was a hick from the sticks cutting it up in the cloud. I wasn't out to make a statement, and this here is how I used to fuck it up in the basement.
That little verse was heat though. The sixth and final tape was March 1995, back in the motherfucking saddle, with what may be the last edition of the Bootleg series, available only in Michigan on Top Dog Records. Once they're sold out, another typo, they are gone forever. This month's Bootleg starts out with a bonus track off Rock's next LP, and ends with TBT covering Box Number 10 by Jim Croce. The first cut on the B-side is then popular Ann Arbor Boys' Whirling Road, which features Chris Peters, who laid down most of the guitar licks on the Polyfuse method. Tim Dog Authier lays down one of his old songs, Only a Dog, with a rap from Kid Rock and some production as well. Look for LPs this year from the Waco Squad, Twisted Brown Trucker, and Kid Rock. And remember, if it looks good, you'll see it. If it sounds good, you'll hear it. If it's marketed right, you'll buy it. But if it's real, you'll feel it. Signed Top Dog Records, 1995. That is the first time ever that Kid Rock used his signature quote. I'm pretty sure of that, and that's pretty damn cool. That quote would be featured on every single following Kid Rock release. I don't think there was ever an LP from the Waco Squad, and I know for a fact that there was never a Twisted Brown Trucker LP. That's really unfortunate. The TBT record was a concept that Rock had talked about happening since the band's inception in 1994, saying it all the way through the years of 1999 and 2000, telling interviewers that a TBT album was coming, featuring guest appearances from all kinds of musicians.
We're going to get the Joe C's record, do that, and then we're going to have a record, a Twisted Brown Trucker album, which is just going to feature the band, and we're going to have a lot of different guests, front people from Lil' Kim to Run DMC to, we're going to get Fred on a couple tracks, and anybody that wants to get down with it, really, so a lot of stuff going on.
And check out this quote. He puts on Leonard Skinner's You Got That Right and says, "I'm going to do a cover of this for the Trucker record. See if I can get Axl Rose to do the vocal with me." It's such a shame that TBT album never came to fruition. I'd love to know the reason why it never happened at any point between 1994 and 2000. Rock had his own label, so it doesn't really seem like that would be an excuse. Of course, by the time Rock went mainstream, he's dealing with all these other giant artists. Maybe there was some legal things, I don't know. But fuck, man, it pisses me off that we never got anything from TBT besides their features on Kid Rock releases. This last tape starts off with the earliest version of Paid, a song that would be re-released on EMSP and then The History of Rock. It's true to the later versions. The bass line is a little different in this one, and it doesn't yet feature his background singer, Thornetta Davis, singing the chorus.
Kid Rock and I got all the hoes saying.
Track 2 is Only a Dog, a Tim Authier song, with a cool verse from Rock thrown in.
I'm a dog, bitch, so let's get it on. Come on, get dog. Here's the money, come and get some. A straight dog from the D. Down with the motherfucking TBT. I'm in the sea of deception, perfection. I can't find the direction. Protection, if you keep flexing, I'm gonna smack your ass with a goddamn erection.
Track 3 is Not Yet Gone by Whirling Road, a mellow rock song. I don't really listen to it. And the final bootleg track, a superb Jim Croce cover, Box Number 10. Kid puts a darker vibe on the song, with a distorted guitar track jarringly different from the acoustic vibe of the original. This one's fantastic. This is Kid Rock's second time kind of covering Jim Croce. This was a legit cover song, but New York's Not My Home, yeah, that is actually the title of Jim Croce's song that gave Kid Rock the inspiration to write his version of New York's Not My Home. These bootleg tapes are extremely rare today. They're some of the most highly coveted Kid Rock items for collectors. When they do rarely hit eBay, they sell for hundreds. And a set of all 6 is sold for over $1,000, and that was like over a decade ago. Between his last bootleg in March and the release of Early Mornin Stoned Pimp in early January of '96, Rock performed 6 shows in Ohio and in Michigan. He would kick up the concert grind in the year 1996, performing at least 38 separate times, compared to only 6 concerts in '95. By 1996, the Twisted Brown Trucker Band was always present on stage with Rock, and Rock himself started to consistently play other instruments on stage. He would continue to play a guitar on stage for 1 or 2 songs for pretty much every show for the rest of his career. Rock's stage show began getting more elaborate and exciting in 1996. He was really starting to come into his own, crafting the persona that would blow him into the mainstream. But I'll talk more about his grand stage shows in the next installment of this series. Also, by the end of 1995, Rock was granted full custody of his son Junior, so he was still juggling being a great father with hustling his way to rock stardom. Before I dive headfirst into Early Mornin Stoned Pimp, there are a few other unreleased White Room Sessions tracks that have been leaked online over the years. I believe the most notable to be his cover of Bob Seger's Turn the Page.
On a lonely, lonesome highway.
I can't believe that Rock never figured out a way to put this song out as a B-side or something. His rendition of this song is just fucking amazing, adding that Kid Rock swagger to this all-time classic song.
Smoke a big fat ass joint, remembering what she said. She said, here I am, and I am on the road again.
He'd be called upon in the year 2000. When on tour with Metallica, he had to come on stage and sing Turn the Page with the band for the packed arenas. He did this for 3 or 4 shows, pretty badass. Another track that was recorded during this time was the original demo of Cool Daddy Cool. This one with all Kid Rock, no Joe C. The song is pretty close to what became the final version, and yes, that infamous line is in this version as well.
Young ladies, I like them underage. See, some say that's statutory, but I say it's mandatory. My story ain't that complex. 240s and a Rolex. I rip, I rock, I roll G. I trim my hair with a flow beat. Got soul G like Al Green. Co-coolin' like the 18 from Maine to San Francisco. I'm shooting like a pistol. I'm slow slick, I'm Crisco. Daddy likes the disco. Drop it on now. Call me cool. I'm cool. Call me cool.
Another White Room demo recorded at this time was Warm Winter. This song is underrated as fuck. Most Die Hard fans appreciate this one a lot. The demo version of this song has never surfaced. Rock had it on the shelf for a few years, until the year 2000 when he touched up the song for a movie soundtrack release. In the year 2000, he said, "I did the song about 5 years ago. Just fucking around," he grins. "I think I got about 450,000 with trailer rights and everything from a song that I did 5 years ago that was sitting in a fucking trash bin. It's not as it was. Spend another hour on it," he concedes. The song has an industrial vibe to it, with Rock singing about an unhealthy relationship with his ex. It's just so badass, it's so emotional, it's so powerful, it's awesome. Finally, a demo of Rollin' from this era exists, which would be renamed to Roving Gangster for its official release on Devil Without a Cause.
Everything's tight from my loop to my friends. I ain't got time to tighten up loose ends. I've been that route too many times. If I stabbed in my back, I ain't writing no rhymes. I see what is and all that was ain't shit. My soul is cold and on the world I spit. I got the grits and the fuse and the fire makes 3. 1 every month, now the TBT. I'm twisted round, I'm pissed on crowd, and I be walking through your finger with the redneck sounds. I'm a razor blade sticking through a wrist of hate. I'm a contradiction, I'm a twist of fate. See me rolling.
Thanks to old YouTube channels like Jade Kid Rock Lyrics and Dan P 1987231. These 2 channels are responsible for a lot of these demos being online at all, and for a long time, they were the only place to actually listen to these songs, especially the bootleg songs. Dan P specifically, I'm guessing, was a part of the Kid Rock camp in the mid to late 90s. How the hell else would he have some of these White Room Sessions songs and the Devil Without a Cause demos? If there are any other notable unreleased tracks that I haven't mentioned thus far that were already recorded by 1996, I'll make sure to mention them in part 4. And if you know any, drop them in the comments, please. Now, apparently Rock did write some of his later released songs like Jackson, Mississippi, and a few others at this time, but that's unconfirmed because those demos have not surfaced. But now, released on January 9th, 1996, is Early Mornin Stoned Pimp. This was Kid Rock's first and only self-released full-length LP. He didn't have the cash on hand to produce the 14,000 copies of the album that he'd eventually sell, so he had to swallow his pride and ask for a $5,000 loan from his dad. To conceptualize this, that's over $10,000 in 2025. That loan was an incredible risk for Rock to take, as he explained.
Early Mornin Stoned Pimp, Bob put out on his own label.
Bob went independent and started Top Dog Records.
That was created after the Romeo Bulldog High School mascot with like a wrap chain around it.
I saw him pace the floor for like 2 weeks, wondering how he was gonna press that album up.
He didn't want to, but he asked his father for a $5,000 loan. He did not want to ask his father for shit. It took a lot of pride for him to do that. He wanted to put it out independently because he knew to get the respect, finally, from a major label. He figured out, I want to have to show these motherfuckers that I can actually sell my own records.
He didn't have the money, so who has money? The old man's got money.
Like the last person on the face of the earth that I want to ask is my dad.
I said, well, go for it, but I worry about you. It was a big risk in my eyes, big risk.
But still, for doing it myself out of my basement with, my packaging tape and Pitney Bowes stamp machine, did pretty well for myself. Took an $8,500 loan and flipped it into about 120 grand in 8 months. Told everyone to bite me. Went and got a big record deal, and here I am. Hello. To have to come back with my tail tucked between my legs twice, from Jive and Continuum.
That ain't no chive!
Not to mention everything that happened in between there, with my son being born. It was just a difficult thing to do.
The money for the recording of the album came from the bosses of the White Room Studios, as Rock began working full-time as the building's janitor in 1995 to pay for his studio fees. The White Room Studio was Rock's second home throughout the mid-90s. Rock being on a tight budget at this time makes total sense if you have a physical copy of this CD. There aren't really pages to the booklet, just a few pages that you have to fold out. That Top Dog logo on the OG 1996 copy of the CD was badass for sure though. There were 2 versions of the CD. The original Top Dog press of 1996, and then he repressed it in 1999 to sell some more. And this version is a bit more common, and it has a more basic looking CD. There were also 2 different versions of the cassette that he sold at the time. Here's the important notes from the CD booklet. Mad props to everyone who contributed to EMSP. My homeboy Cracker, Martin Tino Gross, the Howling Diablos, Eddie Harsh, yes, from the Black Crowes, not sure if I pronounced his name right, Thornetta Davis, Bobby East, Taj, Show, the Drew Master, and all the other White Room drifters who stuck their head in the B room to check out the sounds and got roped into singing, screaming hooks, or just offering the old Rock a hit of the kind or a sip of the wine. Thanks. It's a Detroit thing. Peace to all the people who've supported me, too many to name, throughout my career, especially my fans, the Ritchie family, Mike and Andy Neyra, Heather Yakes and family, Matt Schaefer, and a big love ya, more than life itself, to Junebug, Charlie, Liberty, and my moms. Dedicated to my cousin, Paul Francis. Rest in peace. This album is Kid Rock's fattest album, PH Fat. That's just a fact.
Early Mornin Stoned Pimp was a huge local success.
It was back to rap. It was back to basics and back to what he knew.
The story of this album title is hysterical. From Bob Ebelin, TBT's first drummer. Bob just has this unreal constitution that can keep on partying. That's the last fill in the blank of how to be a rock star. He can party for 3 days straight. You'll wake up that 4th day and feel like dying. He snaps out of bed, ready for the party to keep going. And it's not that he's cheating. He's as drunk and stoned as everybody else. He's got something in his genes. One morning, we both woke up at the apartment after a couple hours of sleep. He was revved up and ready to continue that level of insanity. And it just came out of my mouth. Dude, you are the Early Mornin Stoned Pimp. MTV described the album as an eclectic collection of funk, rap, soul, and rock. And that's a really good way of putting it. The album is a totally unique piece to Rock's discography, but I guess you can say that about most of his albums. It starts off with a 50-second intro.
It ain't no party like a Detroit party, 'cause a Detroit party don't stop.
And that leads into the album's Pimp Master magnum opus, the title track, Early Mornin Stoned Pimp. Clocking in at 7 minutes and 18 seconds, it's a laid-back yet dynamic, funky trip. 2 monster verses from Rock, a party of a chorus, a verse from Tino, and a fantastic outro. It totally encapsulates the entire vibe of this album. Of course, it would reappear on the History of Rock, and in my opinion, the best ever version of this song is the Live Trucker version. Live Trucker came out in 2006, but the performance of that song was from 2000. It has Cracker on the verses with Rock, along with Joe C's verse, and I'm pretty sure it was Joe C's last time ever performing this song live. But that's not to take anything away from the original version. It still holds up to this day without a doubt. And this is the part where I have to introduce Tino Gross. I could have mentioned him a while ago, but I figured it was best to save his introduction until right now. He was the frontman of a cherished Detroit rock band called Howlin' Diablos. They're a funky, bluesy, jazzy rock band, known most for their amazing live performances. In the year 1994, when Rock really started putting himself out there amongst the downtown Detroit scene to keep his name relevant and continue climbing the ranks, he became a regular at multiple downtown spots, one being the Bear's Den. The Howling Diablos were a staple at the Bear's Den, and Rock became a huge fan of Tino and his group. He definitely idolized Tino a bit, and I'm sure Tino taught Rock a thing or two. Rock went from spectator to collaborator pretty fast at the Bear's Den, getting on stage to rap, scratch, and sing. By 1996, Rock had developed quite the chemistry with Tino and his band, as showcased on EMSP, and on this performance of Funky Daddy in Detroit. I believe this to be 1996, but apparently it's possibly from the year 2000. I lean 1996, but here's a taste.
When we pulled into the park that night, she said, "You ain't got nothing yet. I wanna be a funky daddy. I wanna be a funky boy."
And it can't stop. You know what? I grew up in the backwoods, hung in the crack hoods, learned to pimp like a man should. I could have been a rich man like Pop. I never kissed ass, don't take shit past. Here I stand like Jesus. I don't need this. Fuck y'all hoes can squeeze this. I can't believe this. I'm so wasted. After the fruits of life that I've tasted. Never a clone on the microphone. Got shit built up. I never felt loved at home. All alone is how I spend my free time. Writing free crime, drinking cheap wine. Easy ways in the cracker. I'm the master blaster. No one cuts faster. King of disasters, who I am, ho. I be ripping the fucking runs and making mother shit a pants, bro. And I never been talking. From here to my old stomach ground in Brooklyn. Box rolls to the rocks and roll ya. Where we don't say hi, we say hola. Let me show ya. I'm gonna mold ya. And like cards, if you don't play right, I'm gonna fold ya. I told you that I did, honey, you get your ass blown out. Fucking with the kid right there.
What's up, Detroit? Make some noise!
Here's how Tino described meeting Rock and this time period. Johnny and I ran into Bob at a Sponge show, backstage at the State Theater in Detroit back in the early 90s. He was real cool, and we became good pals. He gave me a few pointers on hip-hop, and I schooled his young ass on the blues. He would cart his turntables to our Sunday gigs at the Bear's Den in Berkeley and scratch with us all damn night. We started hooking up at the White Room and recording, and Bob and I wrote some really cool songs together, like Detroit Thang and Early Mornin Stoned Pimp. And also, on another note, from the same interview, Tino said this regarding unreleased material featuring he and Rock. There are lots of things in the can from the White Room, 54 Sound, etc. And also a real good track from the Diablos live at St. Andrew's Hall, where we do many Diablos classics with Kid Rock, Kenny Olson, and Eddie Harsh from the Black Crowes. I gotta get that out soon. Wow, none of that stuff has seen the light of day. The live album that the Diablos would put out in 1996 on Top Dog is awesome, and Diablos and Rock did manage to release one collaboration together, a cover of Drinkin' Wine, Spo D.O.D. The song is pretty cool. And here's Tino's story about that. The whole wine SPO-DOD thing came out of association with Ahmet Erdogan. Ahmet is the last of the record guys that had class and integrity. There aren't any left. He loves the Diablos. We gave him the idea to do the Sun Records tribute, Good Rockin' Tonight, from our remake of Wine, which was the first hit Atlantic had back in 1948, and then blew up again on Sun for Jerry Lee Lewis. So Ahmet put the Diablos on the album and in the documentary. It was his idea to have Kid Rock rap on it, and it really turned out great. Bob schooled it. Ahmet sent us a great letter afterward, which I have on the wall in the studio. Very exciting shit. That song came out on a compilation album of various huge artists in 2001. Rock's relationship with Tony in the mid-90s was huge for him. So yeah, the song Early Mornin Stoned Pimp definitely slaps. And so does track 3, Paid. Paid and EMSP go together like two peas in a pod, so them following each other back to back on the track list flows nicely. This version has the background singer Thornetta Davis. She's quoted saying, "He was hanging out at the White Room a lot then. I sang on a couple things on Early Mornin Stoned Pimp. He was showing us what to sing, and I said, wow, you've got a voice. You're not just a rapper." And lo and behold, he's a singer now. He wanted me to do a lyric that was pretty risque, and I'm like, I have a little girl. Can you not publicize that I'm on the album? Sure enough, it comes out, and I'm in the credits. Of course, this wasn't the first time that Rock had a female singer on a track. It's a similar vibe to the outro vocal of The Upside from that female singer. Now that I think about it, the Polyfuse Method has got to be the only Kid Rock album not to feature a female singer anywhere on it. Next is a new track, I Wanna Go Back, a song reminiscing about Rock's days in Mount Clemens. Detroit basement parties, sleeping on couches, slanging crack. It's got shoutouts to all the Beast Crew members. It's a great biographical track, and there's no fabrication of truth or sensationalism here, just what he experienced firsthand. Track 5 is Live, featuring Isham. This song is pretty cool. Isham gives Rock a live intro, and Rock rips an awesome extended verse, followed by some scratching. Next is a staple deep cut from the album, Detroit Thang, featuring Howling Diablos. This track is the best example of Rock and Tino's chemistry. This song is just a party. The atmosphere created here is fantastic. The chorus is infectious.
It's a Detroit thing.
Track 7 is another Bootleg song, You Keep On. It's real similar to the Bootleg version, just a new mix with a couple different lyrics.
White Room Studios, top dog in this motherfucker, biatch.
Next, Shotgun Blast.
Shit, Kid Rock back in this motherfucking house.
This song is Rock's closest thing to horror rap. I think that's what the genre of this song would be. It's definitely got an edge to it. He's going hard here, and it's badass.
The gun's too loud, sure boy, I'm straight slitting throats. 'Cause that's the way I like to do shit, Holmes. Every time I get my gamble on.
A bit obscurely, this song was on a 1999 WCW wrestling compilation album, under just the name Blast. This version of the song is edited. Similar to Warm Winter, I think Rock was just getting a quick bag here. Track 9 is one of my favorites from the LP, Freestyle Rhyme. Rock's just in his bag here.
A straight pimp, you can't stop this. So when I get low on dough, I make my hoes dance topless.
He was questioned on the presidential line from this song once, responding, "I'm pretty good with the one-liners sometimes. Setting people up and then watching them fall, in a roundabout way where no one gets hurt. It's fun."
An invitation to the president just for kicks and said you're cordially invited to suck my dick.
Track 10 is another one returning from the Bootlegs. a completely redone mix of classic rock. This one starts with an answering machine message from some groupies.
And we want you to yodel in our valleys, baby. It's my birthday. We're from Long Beach. Late.
And kicks into a more heavier rap version of this song. It's that great, dirty, nasty, classic rock.
With the classic rock, like wax that booty, yodelay he who punk, slapping you hoes with dick when I get drunk. From Alabama to Texarkana, bend over, bitch, and let me slam a big fat dick up in your booty, oh goody, if you're freaky hoe, we'll do the backdoor boogie, bitch.
Track 10 is my favorite track off this album, a new song called My Name Is Rock. This is the style of music rock was doing best at this point in time, in my opinion. It's like the sequel to Back from the Dead. It's got this amazing extended instrumental intro with rock sampling, mostly himself. I love the verses on this one. And of course, he performed this song consistently throughout 1999, most notably to close out his Woodstock 99 performance. Those performances of the song were more rock-oriented, and also Rock would show his musical versatility on it, taking turns on each instrument for the crowd. That 1999 live version of My Name Is Rock is just chef's kiss. I'll never get tired of it. The outro of the EMSP version is cool, with just some guitar and synthesizers to transition perfectly to track 12, Where You At, Rock.
Where you at, rock, where you at? Over here to the rear with your girl in the 40s of beer.
All the good things I just said about My Name Is Rock can be put towards Where You At, Rock, and then some. Damn, this song fucking rocks. He's in his bag again, with those in-your-face, braggadocious rhymes that just hit hard. I love the heavy guitars on this track too. It's almost like a sequel to Fuck You Blind, not including the lyrics. This track is one of my favorite lines Rock has ever wrote, certainly one of his hardest. Of course, this song got remixed for Devil Without a Cause, and he'd performed this song a lot in the early to mid 2000s. Of course, in Kid Rock fashion, making it sound even better with new twists as the years went on.
Say what? Where you at, rock, where you at? Oh, come on. Where you at, rock, where you at? Yeah. Where you at, rock, where you at? Oh, give it to me. Where you at, rock, where you at? Oh, get out. Where you at, rock, where you at? Where you at, rock, where you at? It's Minnesota, motherfucker, so you better beware.
Track 13 is the return of Crack Rocks, with a completely new mix. This mix is much closer to the mix of Shotgun Blast than it is the OG bootleg version of this song. The vibe created here is fantastic, it's just energy out the ass. Cracker and Rock, of course, show off their maxed out chemistry. It's just a riot. It's got a funny line about Woodstock, considering he'd be making his mark on the music world with his performance at Woodstock 99, just 3 short years later.
Everything that gets old, it gets overrated. Old to me just means outdated. I'm the Kid Rock, fuck all that 60s shit. Take Woodstock and shove it up your mama's slit.
Next is The Prodigal Son Returns. It's damn near exactly the same as the bootleg version. Essentially, it sounds like a copy and paste job, just a bit higher quality now. And then there's track 15, Black Chick, White Guy. Over 7 minutes of Rock spilling his guts, of his extremely turbulent and toxic relationship with his ex Kelly, the father of his son. I talked about this song a lot in part 2, as that's when the events of the song took place. I'm not going to rehash all of those details here, check out part 2 for that. This is My Oedipus Complex part 2, complete with another proper ending.
That was deep.
My favorite part of the song is the fuck 'em, they don't know the half of it, pre-chorus. And then that chorus, what singing from Rock. Definitely his finest moment to this point, vocally speaking. As a little treat, here's a soundboard clip of him riffing on the Black Chick White Guy chorus live in the year 2000.
There ain't no sunshine when you know I'm low. People tell me life's a game I'm not playing. It just don't mean shit to me anymore. I have taken my blows, I'm still standing. There ain't no sunshine when you know I'm low. People tell me life's a game I'm not playing. Bitches don't mean shit to me anymore. I have taken my blows, I'm still standing. I am still standing. I am still standing. I'm still standing. I am still standing. I'm still standing. I am still standing. There ain't no sunshine to go. I'm low. Tell me life's a game I'm not playing. Bitches don't mean shit to me anymore. I have taken my blows, I'm still standing. I'm still standing. I am still standing. I am still standing. I am standing. I am still 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 standing.
Here's a real deep quote from Rock regarding the lyrics from his Rolling Stone piece in 2000. Of course, he says, it's pretty much all true. Obviously, you have to rhyme words, but about 99%. Black Chick White Guy is his account of Kid Rock's relationship with the mother of his child, the woman he lost his virginity to in their junior high bathroom. She denies much of this story and has brought suit against Kid Rock and the Rolling Stone for recounting it in a previous article. It's a delicate subject right now. Though Kid Rock has been Junior's primary caregiver since he was tiny, his mother is now suing for custody. I know how solid I've been in terms of Bob Ritchie raising his kid, he says. Nobody's going to take this fucking kid away from me. I got all the documents from everyone involved, neighbors, the teachers, everything. It's just ridiculous to think. The opportunities and the love that he's had, and the home life he enjoys, and the environment he's in, the schools he gets to go to, it's just ridiculous to challenge it could be better anywhere. The one thing that kills him is that the fight is ruining his relationship with Junior's older brother and sister, whom Kid Rock has always considered, well, it's not hard to notice, and only God knows why, he doesn't refer to Junior as his son, but as his youngest son. I remember writing that song, he says, and I was like, fuck it. He shouts out Junior's sister in the EMSP liner notes, Liberty, the girl who was born on the front seat of Rock's car as he was rushing Kelly to the hospital on the 4th of July. Rock thought that baby girl was his throughout the entire pregnancy process, into the child's first year. Rock's friends could tell that Liberty wasn't his daughter.
They named the baby Liberty.
She was born on the 4th of July, and it was a real big inspirational point for him.
He was like, hey, man, let me show you a picture of my child. So he showed me a picture of her, and I'm looking at him, and I'm thinking to myself, now he know this ain't his child.
The baby just kept getting darker and darker and darker.
She didn't quite look like Bob, and people started to question whether she was Bob's or not. So Bob, with the encouragement of his, friends and his family, got a paternity test.
That's when she admitted that she had an affair with someone else.
But before Rock could figure this all out, she was already pregnant with Junior. Unbelievable. And to top it all off, there was a son that was around before Rock and Kelly got really serious. Rock began raising her first son as his own. That's where that line from Only God Knows Why stems from. Like he says, you don't know the half of it. The album closes with the 16th track, the outro. It's just a weirder mix of the intro with the vocals turned down. It's completely unnecessary, but whatever. This album was an absolute banger. Rock was at yet another crossroads with the release of the album. Yeah, he was a huge local success. He was able to buy himself a small house, a nice car, but to continue this music thing full time, he needed a real record deal. He needed to reach that next step. If not, the dream would have to be over.
Everything was riding on it. He was probably pushing 26 years old, so it was definitely going to be the last real crack.
You should know that Kid Rock is the type of dude who's going to control his own destiny. His hustler, never take no for an answer mentality would surely lead him to success. In part 4, we'll dive into the years just prior to Rock blowing up, with the release of Devil Without a Cause, and then those monumental televised performances, cementing him as a fixture in American music and pop culture. Peace.